Hi everyone, and welcome back to English for You. I'm Erin.
And I'm Rainbow.
And yesterday we were talking about how VR could change things at a nail salon. Now, that was a really interesting thing to talk about, but I'd like to talk about our experiences with VR. Have you used VR before, Rainbow?
I actually have I've tried a VR with a video game system, and it was at a shopping mall. They had you wear a pair of goggles, which would take you to this, I think it was kind of like a racetrack, and then you would be real time, so 360 degrees. It was like you're holding like the wheel, and then you would just like go for it. And it was really cool because it felt like you're completely immersed in this world.
Right.
Honestly, it made me kind of dizzy, but I thought it was pretty cool. Have you tried anything with VR?
I have, yeah. And you know what? It did the same thing to me. I've tried it a couple of times and I liked it, but at the end I felt kind of sick afterwards. And I've actually had friends who've gotten sick from doing VR, and it just upset their stomach too much. So, you know, some people really like it, some people don't, but if you use it a lot, it can be a really interesting experience and you do get used to it. But in today's article, we're going to find out how VR is helping at a hair salon. So let's find out about that.
Reading. TOEIC, training hair salon employees with VR. Dear all, as some of you are already aware, I recently attended a talk about rising trends in the beauty industry. The speaker explained how she uses VR to improve service and customer satisfaction at her nail salon. Afterward, I was wondering how we can make similar leaps forward here at electric salons. I've come up with an idea I'm sure you'll all be excited about. Starting next month, we are going to offer a new course that uses VR to train employees. The technology will allow you to look through the eyes of experienced stylists as they do different haircuts. By being immersed in the situation repeatedly, you will quickly get the hang of difficult skills and gain confidence. Since this is a brand new way to train staff more efficiently, all employees must take the first course, regardless of experience. It will be held at the Taishan store on April 3rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. After that, classes will be held only for newly hired staff. I look forward to seeing you all there. Best regards, Stephen Hahn, Manager, Electric Salons.
All right, today's article is actually a business email, and it starts by saying, Dear all, as some of you are already aware, I recently attended a talk about rising trends in the beauty industry. Now, what the writer of this email has done is said, as some of you are already aware. Now, when you are aware of something that exists or is true, you know about this thing or you already have information about this thing. Now, here in the article, the speaker mentions that some people have already heard or know about a rising trend. As an example, we might say, are you aware that our office hours have changed? We close at 5 p.m. now. All right, today's article is actually a business email, and it starts by saying, Dear all, as some of you are already aware, I recently attended a talk about rising trends in the beauty industry. Now, what the writer of this email has done is said, as some of you are already aware. Now, when you are aware of something that exists or is true, you know about this thing or you already have information about this thing. Now, here in the article, the speaker mentions that some people have already heard or know about a rising trend. As an example, we might say, are you aware that our office hours have changed? We close at 5 p.m. now.
Not aware. So we also have the word trend in this sentence. So trend is basically a general direction that something is developing in or changing into. Now, trends are very important in our society because they tell us what people are interested in. So, for example, when we talk about fashion trends, it's what's most popular this season and what clothes people like to wear. So we have fashion shows and fashion magazines. Electronics trends dictates the phones we buy, cameras, cars, car trends or beauty trends. Many different kind of trends can tell us what we can buy and how other people can sell things to us. So basically, people who are marketing and consumers, they always look at trends to sell and buy products. All right, so I have a sentence for you. With an upward trend in inflation, you expect prices to rise. So inflation just means everything is getting more expensive. And if it's a trend, that means for a few months now or a few years, it's always been rising. So we call that a trend if it continues to happen for a period of time.
That's right. All right, so in continuing on in the email here, it says, the speaker, that's the speaker at the talk that this person went to. So the speaker explained how she uses VR to improve service and customer satisfaction at her nail salon. We might have heard about that yesterday. All right, but we are still talking about VR, so let's kind of give a quick, kind of brief recap about what VR is. It's just an environment created by a computer that seems real to the person experiencing it. So you might wear a headset or a pair of really big, clunky, heavy glasses on your eyes, and you experience this world by looking at it in the computer.
Afterward, I was wondering how we can make similar leaps forward here at electric salons. All right, so a couple words here. We have the transition afterward, which just means at a later place or time. Now, we can also use eventually, later, then, after, or next, and it can be used in the beginning, middle, or end of the sentence. Now, here we talk about making leaps forward, which means an advancement, like you're leaping means jumping. So like jumping ahead, we want to make a technological advancement here at the salon. So going back to afterward, I have a sentence for you. Several weeks afterward, my mother visited my home. Or you can say, my mother visited my home several weeks afterward.
That's right. Okay, so like Rainbow said, when you're making leaps forward, you're just making big changes in a positive direction. So here at Electric Salon, they want to move forward with this technology. They want to make some big changes. And it says here in the article, I've come up with an idea I'm sure you'll all be excited about. Okay, so that's the point of this email here. He's come up with an idea. Now, when you come up with something, like an idea or a plan or a project or something like that, you think of this thing. For example, you could say, I came up with an idea for Shelley's birthday gift. I think we should get her a cute hat and scarf. All right, let's continue on in the article and look at the next sentence, which says, starting next month, we're going to offer a new course that uses VR to train employees. Okay, so they are introducing this system, this VR system, into the electric salon, and they're going to offer some training courses. So more of this business email is actually going to be about how this training will be done and kind of what they need to know as people who work at this salon. It says here, the technology will allow you to look through the eyes of experienced stylists as they do different haircuts. Now, of course, a stylist is a person who works with hair. For example, they might cut it, dye it, put perms in it. They can do lots of different things with the hair. Of course, that's called giving a person a hairstyle, which is why this person is called a stylist. Now, an experienced stylist, of course, is someone who's been doing this job for a long time and has lots of experience working with hair.
That's right. So we need to find a good hairstylist so that we can have great hairstyles. By being immersed in the situation repeatedly, you will quickly get the hang of difficult skills and gain confidence. So we have a few idioms here. Erin, what do we have?
All right, well, at first we use the phrase immersed in something. Now, when you are immersed in something, you are completely involved in an activity or a situation. And when you're doing this, you're usually not aware of anything else that's happening around you. Now, this will happen when you're doing VR because you're wearing something over your eyes during VR. You're only aware of what's happening in the VR because you can't see anything else. Now, you might hear something else that happens around you, but you're not really paying attention to it because there's so much going on in front of you. That's why we say you're immersed in the situation. Now, this can also happen in other things. So if you're very, very busy listening to music while you're studying for a test, you're not looking up from your book, you don't see anyone around you, you're just hearing what you're hearing in your headphones and you're looking at your book, you could say you're immersed in your book.
All right, so we say immersed in the situation. Now, situation is just a surrounding or a circumstance or something that's happening currently. So if we say, this is a very difficult situation, which means it's recently hard for me in my circumstance because something difficult is happening. For example, somebody could be sick or maybe I don't have enough money. So if I'm immersed in the situation, it means immersed in the condition. And when we're talking about VR, it's just the environment around you. So it means that you can be completely in the circumstance using technology.
That's right. Do we have an example sentence?
Yep, it says, I'm aware of the situation and I'm handling it now.
All right. Full of business.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So we did also say that this situation happens repeatedly. So you're not just wearing the VR headset one time and that's all the training you get, right? It says we're doing this thing repeatedly. And repeatedly means that we're doing it many times or it's just happening again and again. So if you immerse yourself in something repeatedly, maybe you do it once every day. You kind of put the headset on for an hour, learn how to do it. The next day you do the same thing. The next day you do the same thing and so on and so on.
That's right. And in the same sentence, we also say, if you keep doing it, you'll get the hang of difficult skills. So if you get the hang of something, it's a phrase that just means you're used to it and you've learned it. And so you can do it quite easily. So this is a very informal phrase.
Right.
So in a business setting or a book, you probably won't hear it. But when we're just speaking to each other, you might say, I've done it a few times and I feel like I'm finally getting the hang of it. It means getting used to it and I can do it pretty easily and pretty well.
Exactly. Now, when you get the hang of something, you usually gain confidence.
Yeah.
Now, confidence is the feeling you have when you know you have the ability to do something well. Or it's the feeling that you get when you know some information very well. So if you have studied really hard for your test and you know you're going to get an A on this test, and then you write it, you go into that classroom and you have confidence. We can also say you feel confident. That spelling is confident. That's the adjective form of this noun confidence. Now, confidence can also be the feeling that you get when you are able to deal with difficult situations or solve problems well. So if you've been doing a job for a very long time, you might know how to talk to customers really well. So when you talk to them, you feel confident. You have lots of confidence. Now, as another example, you could say, I wish Megan had more confidence. She does her job well, but she never realizes it. So she is doing a good job, she just doesn't know. So we say she doesn't have confidence.
All right, next sentence says, since this is a brand new way to train staff more efficiently, all employees must take the first course regardless of experience. Now, brand new, this adjective with a hyphen in the middle, just means it's never been done, never been used, or never been opened before.
That's right. Okay, so this is a brand new way to teach people, right? VR has only been around for a few years, and it's only been affordable for even less years, or even fewer years. So, this is so new that all the employees need to try to do this at least one time, and it doesn't matter how much experience they have, but this is going to be used to train staff more efficiently. Now, when something is done efficiently, it's done in the best possible manner. You don't waste time, you don't waste effort when you do this thing if you do it efficiently. This often happens when a person has a lot of experience in something, so they already know how to do this really quickly and really easily, and so they can do this efficiently. Here's an example. She was the boss's most reliable assistant because she always completed her work efficiently. So she was the person that the boss went to because the boss knew she would do it quickly and well.
Right, so this is going to offer employees to be trained to work more efficiently regardless of experience. So regardless means without regard for, which means one thing does not affect the other thing. So it doesn't matter if you have experience as a stylist or not, you have to take the first course. So your experience doesn't affect you and you have to do it anyway because it's required for everybody.
Right, it's just a job requirement.
Yeah. So, a sentence for you. Gina's parents love her regardless of the score she gets on her test. So, Gina's parents don't care if she gets good grades or bad grades, which is really great because I know in Taiwan, lots of parents do care. Yeah, so I like Gina's parents.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter what score she gets on her test. Maybe she's really good at art, but not good at math. And you know what? Her parents love her anyways. All right, well, the next line in the article says, it will be held at the Taishan store on April 3rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. After that, classes will be held only for newly hired staff. All right, so what we're saying here is this is obviously the boss who's sending this business email to his employees. The boss is really just telling the employees where they have to go to do this training session, when they have to be there, and sort of what will happen after that first class. And after that first class, if you already have experience as a hairdresser, you don't really need to take more. I imagine you probably can take more, but the only people who really do need to take more are newly hired staff or brand new employees.
That's right. I look forward to seeing you all there. Best regards, Stephen Han, Manager, Electric Salons. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there, which means you're excited or you're pleased that something's going to happen. Now, if we're talking about business or a formal email, I would say looking forward to our meeting or looking forward to our deal, looking forward to meeting you for the interview. It's kind of a formal way of saying I am excited to see you soon. And best regards is also like formal way of saying from me and with my best regards means I respect the situation and I give you my best. And he signs it as the manager. So I have a sentence for you. I look forward to hearing back from you about the position. You may contact me by email or phone. So if you're writing a formal business email, that's something that you can say officially and wait for the other person to respond.
Exactly. All right. Well, Rainbow, I look forward to my next trip to the salon to use VR to find out what hairstyle or nail style is best for me. Okay, well, we are actually all finished with today's article, so we're going to finish up now with our For You chat.
For You chat.
All right, today's question is, what type of VR would you use to become professional in a certain field?
You know, honestly, I've always thought of VR as a really good way to shop, to expand the clothing business.
Right.
Remember last time we talked about how a lot of people don't like to go out to the shopping mall to get their clothes.
Right.
And Amazon or other services that deliver directly to your home, they're very convenient. And with VR, what you could do is put up your own picture and you could try on the clothes from different stores and order it in your size. And maybe you could fill in your measurements so that you wouldn't have to go to a store. I think it could be a good idea to make it very marketable. What do you think?
You know what? I think VR would be a really interesting way to as an actor, practice for a play. So, you know, you do have rehearsal times, but maybe you don't get to have a lot of rehearsal times. And so you want to keep practicing in your own time. Now, if you had a VR system, actors could just put this VR system and practice on their own. And that would really help them get ready for their other rehearsals when they are with other people.
Oh, interesting. So through VR, it could be like you're interacting with others.
Right. And so it's like you're practicing being on the stage. Maybe you're afraid of public speaking.
Yeah.
And the VR system could have a lot of people standing in front of you, and you could practice being on the stage in front of those people and giving a speech or remembering your lines, that sort of thing. So VR could actually be used in a lot of really different ways.
Wow, I'm really looking forward to the future of technology with VR.
All right. Well, what about you guys? What kind of VR things would you use to become a professional in a certain field or industry? You guys can talk about this too, but we are all out of time for this article, so we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.
TOEIC, training hair salon employees with VR. Dear all, as some of you are already aware, I recently attended a talk about rising trends in the beauty industry. The speaker explained how she uses VR to improve service and customer satisfaction at her nail salon. Afterward, I was wondering how we can make similar leaps forward here at electric salons. I've come up with an idea I'm sure you'll all be excited about. Starting next month, we are going to offer a new course that uses VR to train employees. The technology will allow you to look through the eyes of experienced stylists as they do different haircuts. By being immersed in the situation repeatedly, you will quickly get the hang of difficult skills and gain confidence. Since this is a brand new way to train staff more efficiently, all employees must take the first course, regardless of experience. It will be held at the Taishan store on April 3rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. After that, classes will be held only for newly hired staff. I look forward to seeing you all there. Best regards, Stephen Hahn, Manager, Electric Salons.
Vocabulary Review
Aware. Ben wasn't aware that the meeting time had changed. He showed up at 3 p.m., but no one was there. Trend. This chart suggests that there has been a downward trend in sales in the past decade. Afterward. Billy was yelled at by his boss and decided to quit soon afterward. Situation. After some bad decisions, the company found itself in a difficult situation. Confidence. Sandy has confidence in her abilities and believes she could do the job well. Efficiently. Nathan was fired for not being able to finish his work efficiently.